turn up.
Do you want to win this Brandon Ayuk jersey? All you have to do is be a subscriber, and you have a chance to win it at the end of March, and then we'll be doing a different giveaway after that. All right, so we're going to be going through NFL free agency. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 kind of names that we're going to go through after some of the big tight end signings that we did in separate videos. So if you missed those, you can go through those there. But we have Curtis Samuel is going to be the first one, and we're going to be going through a couple different wide receivers here. Curtis Samuel, 3 years, $34.5 million contract. Kind of a perfect contract for Washington. And Washington has signed Ryan Fitzpatrick to a 1-year, $10 million deal. And you're talking about Curtis Samuel, who went from like 70th, 77th, I think, in deep yard targets to, or deep yard catch percentage to first. He was 77% on his deep ball catch percentage, which Ryan Fitzpatrick, we know he can sling the ball. Ultimately, this is a really good fit for not only him, but it's a really good effect for Terry McLaurin as well, because I think Terry McLaurin will be the alpha, the full alpha, instead of having to share that spot with either Kenny Golladay, with either Allen Robinson, or with like Rashad Bateman that would come in. This could be the only signing they do. Maybe they do sign still, or maybe they still draft a wide receiver, but at least at this point, Curtis Samuel, right now he's ADP of wide receiver 46. I would definitely move the two free agent signings, and this is what's awesome about free agent signings, is you move some of these players up. And free agency has a huge effect on the dynasty landscape, on where some of these people are. And so Curtis Samuel, I mean, he's in the 30s for me, so you're talking about a low-end wide receiver 3, but still somebody that is definitely needed in fantasy to help get you week by week here. So Curtis Samuel in the 30s for a wide receiver into like that mid-30 area. So move him up about 10 slots, which is huge, because the next guy we're going to move up about the same too, and it's Corey Davis. Corey Davis, and I'd rather have you to pick Curtis Samuel or Corey Davis. I'd rather have Corey Davis. One, we know Corey Davis is more talented. I mean, there's not many more people that have been highly more recruited, but highly more drafted than Corey Davis coming out of Western Michigan. And he signed a 3-year, $37.5 million with the Jets. We're assuming that he's going to be the alpha there. They also have Denzel Mims. Quarterback situation still up in the air. Still, we think it's Sam Darnold. It's a little bit of a mess there, and that's the only reason why. If they actually had a good quarterback at the Jets, on the Jets team, man, I can't even talk today. On the Jets team, then we would be talking about a Corey Davis maybe moving into like the low-end 20s, and we're talking about 20, maybe 20, or sorry, 24, 25, 26, 27, somewhere around that area. But Corey Davis, 65 catches, 984 yards, and he has a couple games where there's 0 catches in 2020. So that's the biggest problem, is Tennessee utilized A.J. Brown, they utilized Derrick Henry, and in some games they used Jonnu Smith. But Corey Davis was not a lot of times a focal point, and then there was just like 1 or 2 games he'd just blow up. We needed Corey Davis is immensely talented, and he might just keep sneaking up my rankings. I really, really like Corey Davis this year and in 2022, when hopefully they even have a better quarterback as the Jets, because he's a 3-year deal, and some of these deals are not 3 years. On the other side of this, we have A.J. Green, and he's 1 year, $8 million, and Arizona Cardinals looks like an appetizing spot. It looks like an amazing spot, but if you have him at all, just sell. Sell right now, because right now I think he's going to be his highest value, besides maybe in season, where if he has a good game within the first 3-4 weeks. But then people are also going to know, well, it's A.J. Green, he's old. You could see that he didn't have it. When you have 3 wide receivers in the Bengals, or maybe even more, try to basically overtake A.J. Green, we know that his career is pretty much about done, and so this is just kind of a sayonara, like you're going off into the desert here, A.J. Green. So sell A.J. Green. Don't have him on your team. If you're in rebuild, please just sell like in the next 24 hours if you can. I mean, this is the prime time. Don't wait till the season. Just get a draft pick of some sort. Doesn't matter what it is. Heck, get a 4th rounder, 3rd rounder, 5th rounder, whatever it is you can get. Heck, some of my favorite trades to do actually in Dynasty is to say, okay, I will give you a 5th and A.J. Green for like a 4th, or I'll give you a 4th and A.J. Green for a 3rd. Like those type of trades, you're just trying to move up and get a higher draft pick, and sometimes those work. My next one is going to be Jamaal Williams, 2 years, $7.5 million. He's RB48, which I think that's a little too low for Jamaal Williams. I think he's going to be into those mid-30s again. So a lot of these free agents, I think they were just kind of waiting on, especially fantasy, dynasty, ADP, I think we were just kind of waiting on where they're going to go. And as a Detroit Lions, not fan, as I was rooting against them, I know how talented DeAndre Swift is. And we look at DeAndre Swift. DeAndre Swift doesn't get the ball 70, or doesn't get the snap percentage, 70% of snaps. He doesn't get that. It's usually between that 50 and 60%, which leaves Jamaal Williams into that 30% range, which is perfect. If you get exactly what you got last year, but besides DeAndre Swift, A, being healthy, and B, being slightly more worked into the offense and figuring out his own, I think you're going to have DeAndre Swift at RB10, and I think you're going to have Jamaal Williams at RB32, which is fine. He's going to be he's going to combine the Adrian Peterson and the Kerryon Johnson aspects. They both had a combined 31 catches. Jamaal Williams had 31 catches last year. So you're looking at what they do. Jamaal Williams is a really, really, really poor man version of DeAndre Swift. So that being said, I think that Jamaal Williams, you can definitely use him as a handcuff because he will be really good if DeAndre Swift gets hurt. So there's that. I think he's going to be a handy handcuff, if I can say that right. So I think that that's going to be a really good opportunity for you to get Jamaal Williams. But if people are thinking way too much into this, ultimately this is not a signing that I go, oh my goodness, DeAndre Swift's going to get a huge cut in carries or a huge cut in passing. I think that DeAndre Swift, we know, is going to be super talented and is going to have his dose. He's not as efficient as a Kamara, but I think he is talented like that where all he needs is 15 touches a game. He doesn't need 30 touches like a Henry or something like that to destroy defenses. He's a different type of running back. And so that being said, I think DeAndre Swift is going to be perfectly fine. I think, in fact, this is a really good signing because Jamaal Williams is going to help ease some of the load off of him. So when you get into week 14, 15, 16, 17, and now 18, yeah, they're going to week 18, you're going to have DeAndre Swift be able to hold up health-wise, at least a better chance of that versus him being alone or versus him and having Carlos Hyde come in. I even saw the Carlos Hyde signing and people were just going, oh no, James Robinson. I'm like, he's not Carlos Hyde of 2015. He's Carlos Hyde of 2021. So James Robinson should be fine. These are signings you want to see when you have free agent running backs. I may even have to take a video, make a video of past running backs. When you see past running backs that are getting over the hill, like Chris Carson, wherever he goes, if a rookie goes there, awesome. That's a perfect situation. Chris Carson's a 1-year fill in the gap. Mark Ingram was that last year. You knew that J.K. Dobbins was going there and he was going to take over fairly quickly. It happened. Marlon Mack, even a younger version of that, even if he didn't tear his Achilles, I think we knew what was going to happen there. All right, anyways, we got to get into quarterbacks here. We're already getting almost to 10 minutes. We have Andy Dalton. I guess we can say that Jameis Winston and Taysom Hill are kind of two quarterbacks that are combined. They have a mess there. We don't know what's fully happening there. But Andy Dalton, 1 year, $10 million with the Bears. Ultimately, I mean, you're looking at somebody that's going to replace Trubisky stats with more Trubisky stats without the running. So Allen Robinson stays the same. I mean, you're looking at other positional players. The team is relatively staying the same. They're not getting any better. If anything, you're going to have some of these wide receivers and some of these running backs maybe get into better situations. So you might see these players start dropping just slightly because Andy Dalton's not going to be able to withstand. He's not going to be throwing Allen Robinson 1,500 yards. It's just not going to happen. And so these players are going to get a little bit of a downgrade here. Same offensive scheme and everything like that. So nothing's changing, at least on that front. And if that does, then definitely things can change. But 1 year, $10 million, and ultimately, who knows? He might even be the backup. Maybe they try to figure out a trade somehow. But right now, they're stuck with Dalton, Red Rocket. So Bears players going slightly down here until something else changes. Jameis Winston, 1 year, $12 million, and Taysom Hill, the 4 year, $140. Voided contract, which I think turns into a 1 year, saying pretty much 10, 12 million, something like that. So you get two quarterbacks that we don't know what's going on there, but I think Jameis Winston will be the starter. And that's what I've believed since the beginning of the 2020 season. But right now, it's just a really roller coaster way to get there, and who knows if it will happen. I hope for at least Michael Thomas's sake that it happens. I don't like the offense with Taysom Hill. I think we saw that with that. So right now we're just kind of walking on eggshells and just kind of waiting. But my belief is Jameis Winston will be the starter. And I think Kamara and Michael Thomas value will be plenty fine. And I think they'll stay the same. Now, if Taysom Hill does get named the starter or something like that here, which we won't know that. Unfortunately, this is Dynasty, but if we don't know that, and if you believe that, I believe you need to start down-ticking those two players, especially Michael Thomas, who we saw did not work well with Taysom Hill. But yeah, that's what we got so far. We're going to do some free agent winners. We're going to have more free agent stuff by the time this video comes out. Maybe 4 more people are already signed or something like that. But anyways, this is Marcus Dynasty Full Dads. We do Dynasty Daily Football. If you want to win this, please subscribe. We're giving it away here in like less than 2 weeks. All right. Peace out. Take care.
Now turn up.